going on, everybody? What are we working on today? Well, that, of course, today we are going to be putting in one of these guys. This is a water temperature gauge, electronical, because it's the only one that looks like it would fit in the hole I got. Reason being is the factory one shows hot, and it's an idiot gauge. Guy I bought the truck from said that before he had the water pump replaced and the radiator and a bunch of other things, it would indicate straight up. Now it's indicating all the way over here, but it's not getting any hotter, he says. So I am going to put this electronical gauge in, get rid of the idiot light or the idiot gauge, and actually see how hot this thing's getting. Should be a fun one. This guy's got in it, it's got a gauge, goes up to 280, starts at 100. That's another reason I wanted it. Neighbor's dogs are going bananas. Comes with all kinds of adapters, a light, the sender itself, that should fit in that hole, some fittings, and instructions. Don't need those. Let's put this sucker in. I went and found the thing I'm looking for yesterday, and it is right down in there. That's it right there. See it? See it? Right dead center. I gotta get that thing out. Should be easy. In theory. In practice, I'm never that lucky. Let's go. That sensor thinks it's being cute, not wanting to come out and all. I am not in agreement. Got him out. Wanted to put up a little bit of a fight. I'm not sure if I should seal that or not. I can't tell if that's been sealed or not. That little guy is gone. Alright, so what have I done? Well, I had a thought. The thought was, if I took the dash apart, which is pretty straightforward, had 4 screws left holding it on, and if I took the instrument cluster out, which only had 3 screws left holding it in, it's been in 2 before, what I could do was pull signal for continuity from the original signal wire for the temp sender. Behind the dash, I could find continuity. That's all I'm doing, is continuity check. So, got it set up for continuity. The wire is mostly red. It's very dirty, very grungy. So I'm in here. That wire is mostly red. Meter says nothing. There's one more wire that's mostly red. It's this guy right here. And my meter squawks. So that wire right there is where I'm going to get my signal input for my temp gauge, because that wire right there should run that guy there. Now I just got to tie it into a ground and an ignition hot, both of which I should be able to find here, and I will not need to run any more wires through the firewall. Sweet! I've got ground wires tied up in there. I've got pink for signal and red for hot off of the original dash wiring. Make sure the key's out before I start cutting and crimping. Now I'm going to plug this connector right here back into the back of the dash, put the dash back together. Then I'm going to figure out where I want to mount the little doodad gauge thingy. I have an idea. I'm going to start plugging stuff back in and putting this thing back together. Spider, get out of here. You're going the wrong way. Get. Oh well, he's too small to eat much. What was up with that, you might be asking? Well, I pulled some slack out of the Speedo cable to get this thing in. I've got myself a Gordian knot here. I need to chop at it with the Sword of Damocles. Don't ask me what any of that means, because I'm not really sure myself. I'm pretty sure I'm mixing my myths. or rhetorical arguments. Ah, sticky. So I'm in here doing all this. I decided I need to put power where there ain't. So I picked up one of these because this old thing, it just had this little knockout thingy, which I just popped out with a screwdriver. Trying to keep track of where it went. It took me a minute to figure out how this thing worked because it wasn't popping in the hole, there wasn't a nut. I'm looking at it. It unscrews. So this is going to drop in that hole. This is going to come in from the back. This is going to go ground because it's touching the bare metal chassis. And this is going to go hot. And it's insulated with ceramic, which is pretty cool. I've gone under the dash and I found a hot wire and a ground wire. And by found, I mean cut from the radio, because the radio is a piece of junk. Speakers are a piece of junk. And I can cruise in silence. Either that or I'll figure something else out while I'm cruising. But I need a way to charge my phone. I could have done this a different way. I could have taken the time and found another hot I could tie it into, and grounds are easy. So I don't know why this thing wasn't set up like that to start with. I guess custom, which it says in a couple of places, means has next to nothing on it. Let's put something on it. It's got my hot wire, got my Spady terminal, got my crimpity crimps. Tight. Grab my ground wire. These are my new strippers. Stripper, get it? This is one of my shop buddies looking after me. I mentioned that the old ones I had that were given to me, because I was doing it the old way, cutting it with a knife and stripping it back. Rewiring an entire vehicle like that really was sucking bad. Crimpy crimp. And Jeff had these sitting on his toolbox. Those are pretty cool. Check that out. I'm going to get me a set. A couple weeks later, he's coming in from the tool truck. And every time I see him come in from the tool truck, it's like, ooh, what'd you get me? And he goes, nothing. Well, a couple hours later, he's like, hey man, you remember when you asked what I got you from the tool truck? Yeah. You remember I said nothing? I said, yeah. Well, I lied. I picked up a brand new one of these. These are yours now. So, thanks man, I really appreciate it. These are going to be a lifesaver. I did have to learn how to adjust them because I was giving every wire a haircut. Just because I ain't got no space, I went ahead and plugged in the ground wire to the frame of this guy, and I went ahead and plugged in the hot wire as well. I'm going to give it a bunch of twists in the wrong direction before I put it all in. You know, that ain't going to work. I've got to get that like so. Now I can give it a bunch of twists in the wrong direction. Pluggeth it ineth. I've got nowhere to get. I got nowhere to get my fingers in there to put torque on it. Now that I should be able to charge my phone, my iPod. I don't know how big the amperage is on that fuse. Might be able to run my inverter off of it, I might not. Plug it in, see if it takes the fuse out to the radio. Test it out here in a bit. Alright, to finish it off, zip tie. And make it look like somebody gives a crap. Cut the tail. That's it. She's done. I'll clean up my mess and start it. See what happens. Alright, everything appears to work. Weird. I don't know how I managed that. One thing I forgot to do was find a light circuit to turn light on the gauge on with the lights. Saw a compromise. It's lit all the time now. Dash lights don't work anyway. That is how you install a water temp gauge sending unit on your old POS. I'm going to get the linkage unstuck. Oh, anyway, here's what it looks like. Ye olde Equus gauge, O'Reilly Auto Parts Special. It works. Didn't have to run any holes through my firewall. Nice, clean, kinda-ish install if you don't look too close. But that's it. Oh, and I installed the USB thingy. I'm pretty sure that works with the key on. That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.